It all began in a small town nestled in the foothills of North Carolina. The kind of town where secrets didn't stay hidden for long, yet this one had lingered in the shadows for years, carefully guarded, quietly burning behind the eyes of those involved. Jessica Monroe had always been the responsible one in her family. At 28, she had her life mapped out. She taught literature at the local high school, lived in a modest but cozy home, and spent her weekends volunteering at the animal shelter. Her past was as clean as her present, or so everyone believed. But 6 years ago, before she returned to North Carolina, Jessica had lived a different life in New York City. A life filled with ambition, youth, and one reckless decision that would change everything. Back then, she was in graduate school, pursuing her master's in English, renting a shared apartment in Brooklyn, and balancing part-time jobs to stay afloat. It was during one of her internships at a publishing house that she met Nathan Carter. Nathan was older, charismatic, and powerful in ways that were both alluring and dangerous. He was married at the time, a well-respected editor with a brilliant mind and a reputation for charming everyone in the room. Jessica knew it was wrong to feel the way she did about him, but love rarely asks permission before it invades the heart. What began as professional admiration quickly turned into late-night conversations, then casual dinners, and eventually, stolen moments that danced on the edge of scandal. She tried to walk away more than once. But Nathan had a way of making her feel seen, of listening so intently that she forgot the rest of the world existed. 4 months, their affair remained hidden, an intoxicating blend of passion and secrecy. But nothing stays secret forever. When Nathan's wife discovered a string of texts, everything collapsed. He tried to protect Jessica, claiming it was over and that it had meant nothing. The scandal rocked the publishing house, and Jessica resigned, heartbroken and ashamed. She left New York without looking back, never telling Nathan the truth, that she was pregnant. Back in North Carolina, Jessica built a quiet life, raising her son, Lucas, on her own. She told everyone that the father had been a short-lived relationship that didn't work out. Her parents helped as much as they could, and Jessica poured every ounce of love into Lucas. He had Nathan's eyes and smile, but she never spoke his name aloud, not even in the quietest moments. Lucas was now 5, full of curiosity and boundless energy. He loved dinosaurs, pancakes, and asking 1,000 questions a day. To Jessica, he was everything. But the secret she'd kept for so long began to press down on her with increasing weight. Especially now. Because Nathan Carter had just moved to Asheville, just 30 minutes away. She found out by accident. A colleague mentioned his name while discussing a new creative writing program at a nearby college. Jessica froze. Her heart pounded in her chest as she looked up the faculty list on her phone. There it was. Nathan Carter, visiting lecturer in publishing and editing. 4 days, she debated what to do. Her secret had been safe all these years, but fate had a strange way of unearthing the buried. She considered telling him the truth but feared the upheaval it would cause in her carefully balanced life. Still, curiosity pulled at her like a tide. One Saturday, she drove to Asheville under the pretense of visiting the botanical gardens with Lucas. While Lucas played near the fountain, Jessica walked across campus, her eyes scanning the buildings until she saw him. Nathan. He was older, a little more worn around the edges, but still unmistakably him. He was speaking with a group of students, laughter in his voice, his presence commanding as always. Jessica watched from a distance, her emotions churning. She thought about leaving, pretending she had never come, but Lucas had followed her, his small hand tugging at hers. "Who's that, Mommy?" he asked, pointing. Jessica's heart caught in her throat. "Just someone I used to know," she replied softly. That night, she couldn't sleep. Memories came flooding back. How he used to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear, the way his voice sounded when he read poetry out loud, the promises whispered in the dark that never saw daylight. She realized then that hiding the truth had been easier than facing it. But perhaps it was time. She arranged a meeting under the guise of discussing a school collaboration. When Nathan saw her, his expression shifted from polite interest to stunned recognition. "Jessica?" he asked, his voice uncertain. "Hi, Nathan," she said, keeping her voice calm. He invited her into his office, and the air between them buzzed with a mixture of nostalgia and unresolved tension. They talked, awkwardly at first, then slowly began unraveling the years that had passed. She didn't mention Lucas. Not yet. It took 2 more meetings before she told him. They sat on a park bench under an oak tree, leaves fluttering like whispered confessions around them. Jessica took a breath and looked him in the eyes. "I didn't leave New York just because of the scandal," she said quietly. "I was pregnant, Nathan. I had your son." He stared at her, his face going pale. For a long moment, he said nothing. "My son. His name is Lucas. He's 5. I didn't tell you because everything was falling apart. You had a family, a reputation. I was scared. And then, it just got harder to go back." Nathan rubbed his hands over his face. "I don't even know what to say." "I'm not asking for anything," Jessica added quickly. "I just thought you should know. He's wonderful, Nathan. Smart, kind, and curious. He deserves to know who his father is. But I won't force anything." Nathan met her gaze, 1,000 emotions flickering across his face. "I want to meet him. If you'll let me." Introducing Lucas to Nathan was one of the hardest things Jessica ever did. She kept it light at first, saying he was a friend from work. Lucas took to him surprisingly well. They played with Legos, visited the science museum, and bonded over a shared love of storytelling. Over time, Nathan became a regular part of their lives. But it wasn't easy. Jessica had built walls around her heart, and Nathan had to prove he wasn't the man who once broke it. He apologized, more than once, for how things had ended. He said he had changed, that his divorce had forced him to look hard at who he was and what he wanted in life. One rainy evening, after Lucas had gone to bed, they sat by the fireplace, the crackling logs filling the silence between them. "I've thought about you every day," Nathan said, his voice low. "I never stopped loving you, Jessica. I know I messed everything up. But I want a second chance. Not just with Lucas, but with you." Jessica felt the ache in her chest soften. She had guarded her heart for so long, she'd forgotten how it felt to let someone in. "I don't know if I can trust you again," she admitted. "I'll spend every day earning it, if that's what it takes." The weeks that followed weren't a fairy tale. There were tears, doubts, and hard conversations. But there was also laughter, quiet dinners, and the beginning of something new. Nathan showed up for Lucas's school events, helped with bedtime stories, and even learned how to make pancakes just the way Lucas liked them. Jessica didn't rush into anything. She wanted to make sure that Nathan wasn't just a visitor in their lives. And slowly, as seasons changed, so did her heart.